And then something spiritual happened. Hey, I'm CJ and welcome to my channel where we are going to get enlightened. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about my very first spiritual experience. So growing up, I was raised atheist, which meant that I gravitated heavily to anything with a scientific lens to it. Anything that was like woo-woo or spiritual, anything about chakras or energy, just no, it couldn't be proven. I didn't want to hear about it. And then something spiritual happened. So in 2018, I saw there was a Wim Hof breathwork meetup in San Francisco, and I'm across the bay in Oakland. So I go over there, and the timing is really good because it's actually the week that I had my first panic attack. So work sucks, I'm losing my mind, I have my first panic attack, and then 2 days later, I had tickets to this Wim Hof meetup. And it wasn't with Wim Hof himself, it was with one of the instructors who trained with him over in Poland, I think, and did the thing where they only wear shorts and hike a mountain in the snow, but it's okay because they could breathe. And the thing I really liked about Wim Hof is everything was so based in science. Besides breaking world records and things like marathons and Arctic free dives, Wim Hof also spent a lot of time with scientists and being hooked up to machines to prove that his breathing technique really did have benefits from a scientific standpoint. So here I am, I go to Wim Hof Breathing. It's a really intense experience. I had the tetany, which is when you do certain breathing exercises and your hands kind of cramp. I had that happen. The instructor was really great. He kind of led us through what might happen and just being okay with it. I also felt my heartbeat rapidly. And after just 4 rounds of a few minutes of breathing, I felt like the most calm I had felt in probably years. And here's the thing, you learn Wim Hof breathing and then you know it. You don't have to pay anything and it's easy, you can do it anywhere. So all of a sudden I started doing Wim Hof breathing every day and it was a noticeable change. So my anxiety level was usually about here, and with Wim Hof breathing, I could bring it down to about here. And I feel like over time I did start to become a bit more calm because I could notice inside of myself when the anxiety started rising, when I started feeling tense. I was aware of it enough to be like, okay, it's time that I take a break and go in the back room and do some breathing. So I just regulate my nervous system and calm down a little bit. So overall, Wim Hof really started changing my life and I started doing it every day. So between 4 and 6 months of doing Wim Hof breathing every day, if not like twice a day, I started to see colors. And I mean, with my eyes closed, I started to see like an amoeba or a snowflake. And it would be orange or kind of purple. And it wasn't really crisp. It was kind of like a fuzzy little blob. And I'd see these kind of things float through my vision as I was doing my deep breathing for 20 minutes. And so what I noticed, I started seeing these little blobs of color that would expand. And then it became really routine. So I would get this green dot that would expand, and then there would just be this aqua blue netting throughout it. And the netting would kind of shimmer and move. And then after, let's say like a minute or two, the netting would expand. And then that green field would become an aqua blue field with a dark blue webbing that would come through. And then that would expand. And then I would see dark blue. And so this happened every single day for months until one day I came across one of those pictures of the chakras like overlaid over a human body. And I thought to myself, that's interesting that like the green, that aqua blue, and that dark blue color seem to line up with the upper chakras on this chart, which really set me off on this journey and probably why I'm sitting here now making videos about spiritual things, because I had this experience that was supposed to be scientific and something kind of funny happened. I was so interested in these colors, trying to understand what was happening and what it means, that I'm hooked. I still don't really know what the colors mean. And there's a lot of different theories out there. I'd say the most scientific explanation is that when you see these kind of colors, it's DMT released by your pineal gland. The science is kind of cagey, right? So like this scientists say, well, they can't prove that we make DMT, although they find it in our body and we have the enzymes to make it. So, okay. I know that with breathing exercises, you can change the ratio of oxygen to carbon dioxide in your body, and that can set off a chain of chemical reactions which are theorized to release DMT. So, DMT being that substance that makes you trip or makes you have spiritual experiences. I've noticed from the more spiritual and esoteric end of things, people will say that with breathing or certain meditation practices, if you see colors, they say it's actually seeing auras. I do not know much about auras. I've heard about them from my grandmother, rest in peace, Frida Mae Johnson. Allegedly, she was clairvoyant and she said she could see people's aura when she was sitting in church. And what she said she saw was a silver or gold light that went from like the top of the head upward. And when people were going to die, she'd say that tunnel of light was severed and she could see the sever in it or a crack in it. But yeah, possibly auras. So yeah, you breathe, you see color. What is it? Is it the chakras? Maybe. I've read recently that the colors of the chakras didn't show up until 1927. There was a guy in the United States who wrote a book and assigned a rainbow color for each chakra. Prior to that, in all of the ancient Hindu and Buddhist writings, there was no connection between chakras and color. Or maybe it's the third eye opening. I like this because the third eye is allegedly where we're going to get all of our intuition and be connected to our higher selves and the universe, which is something I'm particularly interested in given that I am chasing an enlightenment experience this year. I think overall, I'm just digging the experience. So I've fallen off on my Wim Hof practice recently in favor of other kinds of breathing practices, but I do want to get back to that place and explore if I can go even further with the colors or see something else. So stay tuned, we'll go into that in the future. Otherwise, that's it for this episode. If you have had a color breathing experience, leave me a comment below. I'd love to know your experience and what you think it means. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.